Welcome. Welcome to all of you. So we are in the 10th lecture of the chapter Surface Chemistry. In the previous two lectures we discussed about mainly colloids, that what are colloids, the different phases of colloids, the different classifications of colloids, and then we discussed about the methods which can be used for the preparation of colloidal solution, preparation of both lyophilic and lyophobic colloidal solution. For lyophobic we mainly discussed three main methods. कौन सी की हमने? केमिकल मेथड किया हमने, और फिर इलेक्ट्रिकल डिस्पर्सन मेथड ऑल्सो नोन एज Bradyk's arc method, and then we discuss about the process of peptidization used for the preparation of lyophobic colloidal salts. And then in the last lecture we discussed the various methods which can be used for the purification process, for the purification of colloidal solution, and we discussed main three methods which can be used for the purification, and they are dialysis, electrodialysis, and ultrafiltration for the purification of colloidal solution. In this lecture we will start with properties of colloidal solution. In this we will discuss the properties such as colligative properties. After this we will discuss about mechanical properties, mainly Brownian movement. Then we will discuss about the optical properties, in which we will discuss about Tyndall effect and color. And at last we will discuss about the electrical properties. So let's start with the first property of colloidal solution, that is colligative properties. Now what are these colligative properties? We must have learned in the chapter of solution about these colligative properties. Define कैसे करते हैं? The properties of solution which depend upon the number of solute particles. Number of solute particles, but not upon the nature of solute particles. Those properties are called colligative properties. Now in case of colloidal solution, we know that the particles of colloid aggregate together. They come close together to form the dimensions of colloidal range. वो कितना होता है? 1 to 1000 nanometer. And in case of true solution, the particle size is less than 1 nanometer. So in case of solution of colloids, the particles they aggregate, मतलब they come close together, form clusters. So they aggregate together, forming bigger aggregates, bigger molecules, and that's why in this case the number of particles of solute, the number of particles of dispersed phase decreases as we compare to the number of particles of true solution. And as the colligative properties depend upon the number of particles of solute, so we can say that the colligative property is of small order. It is of small order as compared to the values shown by the true solution. So in this case, in the case of colloidal solution, the colligative properties, which are elevation in boiling point, depression in freezing point, relative lowering of vapor pressure, and osmotic pressure. So these properties, their values will decrease in case of colloidal solution as we compare to the values shown by true solution at the same concentration. Because in this case, in the case of colloids, the particles they aggregate together to form bigger molecules. So overall, the number of particles decreases in the same concentration of the solution, and that's why their values will decrease as compared to the true solution. So that's about the first property, colligative properties of colloidal solution. So their values are small as compared to the true solution. at the same concentration. Now we'll discuss about the second property, that is the mechanical properties. तो फटाफट स्टार्ट कर दो, आप भी नोट करना. Now we'll discuss the second property, that is the mechanical properties of colloidal solution. Yes, now the mechanical properties of colloidal solution, and we will mainly focus on Brownian movement. That what is this Brownian movement? इसको define कैसे करेंगे? So when the colloidal solution, they are viewed, they are observed under a ultra microscope. What we observe? We observe that the particles of colloid, they are in a state of continuous zigzag motion all over the field of view. And as this motion was first of all observed by Robert Brown, it is called Brownian movement. तो डिफाइन कैसे करेंगे? The continuous zigzag motion of colloidal particles when viewed under a ultra microscope. That movement, that motion is called Brownian movement. Now, on which factors it depends? This motion is independent of the nature of the particles, but depends upon the size of particles and the viscosity of the solution. Smaller the particles and lesser the viscosity, faster will be this motion, faster will be the Brownian motion. ठीक है? Now, what the main cause of this Brownian movement? ये हो क्यों रहा है ये? The Brownian movement is due to the unbalanced bombardment of the particles. कौन से particles? By the molecules of dispersion medium. So the molecules of dispersion medium are continuously colliding with the particles of dispersed phase, and that's the main reason behind this Brownian movement. हम suppose कर रहे हैं कि हमारा particle dispersed phase का यहाँ पे है. Now some particle of dispersion medium collide with this particle of dispersed phase. तो ये हमारे यहाँ पे आ गए हैं. यहाँ पे आने के बाद some other particle of dispersion medium collide with it. अब ये यहाँ पे आ गया. So this continuously colliding of the molecules of dispersion medium with the molecules of dispersed phase. That's the main reason behind the Brownian movement. Clear about this process, this property that is called Brownian movement. एक और property है under mechanical property, that is sedimentation. So the particles of colloid, they will settle down at very slow rate under the influence of gravity. So we can say that the property of sedimentation in case of colloidal solution is of very very slow rate, because the solution is stable. ठीक है? मेन हम फोकस कहाँ कर रहे हैं? On the Brownian movement, and that's all about the Brownian movement. And when we talk about the sedimentation, then we can say that the solution of colloid are stable. They sediment, they settle down at very very slow rate. ये हमारा हो गया mechanical properties of colloidal solution. इसको नोट कर लो. Now we'll discuss about the optical properties of colloidal solution, in which we'll mainly focus on Tyndall effect and color of the solution. So note down, then we'll start the optical properties of colloidal solution. Yes, now the optical properties of colloidal solutions, in which we'll discuss two main properties here, Tyndall effect, and then we'll discuss about the color of the colloidal solution. Let's start with the Tyndall effect. What is Tyndall effect? And you must have learned about it in the lower class in your 9th standard. वही सेम है यहाँ पर. तो क्या होता है Tyndall effect? It is the scattering of light. Lights get scattered. कब हो रहा है? As the light beam passes through the colloidal solution, and as a result of which the path of the light beam becomes visible. That is called Tyndall effect. तो सपोज करो हमारे पास यहाँ पे दो सॉल्यूशंस हैं, एक तो है ट्रू सॉल्यूशन और एक है कोलाइडल सॉल्यूशन. सपोज वी हैव copper sulfate solution or a sugar solution, that is a true solution. And if we have taken milk or a soap solution, that is a colloidal solution. So we have taken a source of light and a lens to convert the light here. And when the light beam is allowed to pass through the true solution, then the path of the light beam is not visible. कि लाइट बीम कहां से पास हो रही है ना, इनसाइड द ट्रू सॉल्यूशन, वो हमें विजिबल नहीं होती है. But the same path of light becomes visible when it passes through the colloidal solution. कि यहां से लाइट कहां से पास हो रही है ना, inside the colloidal solution we can see the path of the light inside the colloidal solution. So why in this case the path of the light beam becomes visible? Due to scattering of light. So light gets scattered in this case by the particles of dispersed phase of the colloidal solution. यहां पे क्यों नहीं हो रहा था? Because in this case, in the case of true solution, the particles of true solution are very, very small in size. They are not able to scatter the light, and that's why the path of light beam is not visible inside the true solution. So it is the scattering of light as the light beam passes through the colloidal solution, as a result of which the path of the light beam becomes visible. That is called Tyndall effect. Now to observe the Tyndall effect, we should satisfy two conditions. पहला क्या है? The size of the particles of colloid should not be much smaller than the wavelength of the incident light. That's the first requirement. The size of the particles of the colloid should not be much smaller than the wavelength of the incident light. Second क्या है? The refractive indices. Now what is refractive index? It is the dimensionless number which help us to denote the speed of light in the different medium. So the refractive indices of the dispersed phase and the dispersion medium differ greatly in magnitude. There is wide difference between the refractive index of the dispersed phase and the dispersion medium. So that's about the Tyndall effect, in which the path of the light beams becomes visible when it passes through the colloidal solution. तो इसको नोट कर लो. Now we'll study about the color of the colloidal solution, which is also a optical property of a colloidal solution. Yes, now the color of colloidal solution. So it has been observed that the color of the colloidal solution depends upon the wavelength of the light which is scattered by the dispersed phase particles, and further this wavelength of light depends upon the nature and size of the particles. And the color of the solution also changes in the manner in which the observer receives the light. In which angle the observer receives the light, that will also influence the change in the color of colloidal solution. Example लेते हैं. So mixture of milk and water. So mixture of milk and water will appear blue in color when it is viewed by the reflected light. And if the transmitted light is viewed, then the same mixture will appear red. So we have difference in the color when we change the different angle to observe the color of the colloidal solution. Now how the color will change with the size of the particles. So gold sol is red in color when the particles of gold are very fine, very small. But as the size of particles increases by aggregation, the same solution of gold will changes to purple, then blue, and finally golden color. So we have change in the color of the solution with the change in the size of particles of dispersed phase in the solution. So that's about the color, which is the optical property of a colloidal solution. So in optical properties we discussed two main features, Tyndall effect, and Tyndall effect you can observe at your home also. If you enter a dark room and if there is any window and if the light enters through the window, then you can observe the path of the light. How? Because of the scattering of light by the dust particles present in the air, and dust is an example of colloid. And that's about the color. So we discussed two main features of the optical properties, that is Tyndall effect and color of the colloidal solution. Now we'll discuss the electrical properties of the colloidal solution. Yes, now the electrical properties of colloidal solution. So it has been observed that the particles of colloidal solution possess electric charge also. Charge can be positive or negative. So let's see some examples of positively and negatively charged salts. Yes, hydrated metallic oxides such as hydrated aluminum oxide, hydrated chromium oxide, hydrated ferric oxides, such salts are positively charged, whereas the metal salts such as copper salt, copper, silver, gold, platinum salts, they are negatively charged salts. The metallic sulfides such as arsenic sulfide, antimony sulfide, cadmium sulfide, such salts are negatively charged. The basic dyestuffs such as methylene blue, hemoglobin of the blood, and some metal oxides such as titanium oxide, such salts are positively charged salts, whereas the acid dyestuffs such as Congo-Red, eosin, and the salts of starch, gum, gelatin, clay, charcoal, etc., they are negatively charged salts. So these are some examples of positively and negatively charged salts. और आपको ये याद करने पड़ेंगे, थोड़ा मगअप करना पड़ेगा. So these are some of the examples of positively and negatively charged salts. Now let's see how the charge arises on the salt particles. That means the origin of charge. So let's start with the origin of charge on the colloidal particles now. Yes, now the origin of charge, the occurrence of charge. How the charge appears on the salt particles. How we have this formation of positive and the negatively charged salts. So the charge on the salt particles is due to one or more reasons, which are as follows. First, due to electron capture by the salt particles. कब हो रहा है ये? During electrodispersion of metals. So we have discussed about the electrical dispersion method or the Bradix arc method for the formation of metal salts such as gold salts, silver, copper or platinum salts. In that case, the salt particles capture electrons and that's how charge appears on them. So we have electron capture by the salt particles during the electrodispersion of metals. That's the one reason. Second, due to preferential adsorption of ions from the solution. So in this case, some particular ion prefer to get adsorbed on the surface of salt particles. So in this case, more than one type of ions are present in the dispersion medium, and the particles of the colloid, they will prefer one of the ion to get adsorbed on the surface, and that's how the charge appears on the soul particles. That is called preferential adsorption of ions from the solution. और third है due to formulation of electrical double layer on the soul particles. Out of these three, the preferential adsorption of ions from the solution, it is the most accepted reason to explain the appearance of charge or the origin of charge on the soul particles. So let's see in detail about the preferential adsorption of ions from the solution. So in this case, the soul particles acquire positive or negative charge. And how they acquire the charges? By the preferential adsorption of positive or negative ion. So you have just explained that there are more than one type of ions present in the dispersion medium. And the soul particles, they will adsorb one of the ion. They will preferentially adsorb one of the ion on the surface to acquire the charge. Charge can be positive or negative. Now the question arises, which ion will get preferred to get adsorbed? So the ion which is common to the colloidal particles. So when there are more than one type of ions present in the solution, then that ion will get preferred to get adsorbed, which is common to the colloidal particle. जो दोनों में common है, particles of dispersed phase में and particles of dispersion medium. जब दोनों में कोई ion common मिलता है तो वो हमारा ion preferentially adsorb हो जाता है on the soul particles. That is the preferential adsorption of ions from the solution. इसको और डिटेल में एक्सप्लेन करते हैं by using examples. वहां आपको ये पूरा क्लियर हो जाएगा. तब तक आप इसको फटाफट नोट कर लो. Now we'll see the examples to show how there is preferential adsorption of ions from the solution with the help of some examples. Yes, now the examples of preferential adsorption of ions, that how a particular ions gets adsorbed on the surface of the soul particles, and thus we have formation of either positively or the negatively charged souls. Let's see some examples here. So when silver nitrate solution is added into potassium iodide solution, so in this case silver nitrate is a dispersed phase, potassium iodide is a dispersion medium. We add silver nitrate into potassium iodide, and we know that it is a double displacement reaction. So we have formation of yellow PPT of silver iodide and aqueous solution of potassium nitrate. यहाँ तक clear है? Now remember the process of peptidization. क्या होता है? The process of converting the freshly prepared precipitate into colloidal solution. कैसे करते थे? By shaking with the dispersion medium in the presence of small amount of electrolyte. That is called peptidization. So the process of peptidization is based upon the preferential adsorption of ions. Now when this PPT, freshly prepared PPT, कौन सा? Silver iodide, is shaken with the dispersion medium. In this case it is potassium iodide. So it will adsorb, it will preferentially adsorb one of the ion. और कौन सा adsorb करेगा? Which is common to the colloidal particles. So in this case the dispersion medium is potassium iodide. इसमें कौन से ions हैं? पोटासियम आयन है और आयोडाइड आयन है. और पार्टिकल ऑफ कोलॉइड में कौन सा है? सिल्वर आयन और आयोडाइड आयन. दोनों में कॉमन कौन सा है? आयोडाइड आयन कॉमन है. सो दिस फ्रेशली प्रिपेयर्ड पीपीटी ऑफ सिल्वर आयोडाइड will acquire which ion? Iodide ion from the potassium iodide, and thus the PPT will get splits up into small particles and get dispersed throughout the dispersion medium, and we have formation of colloidal solution. So in this case the PPT silver iodide will absorb which ion, which is common to the colloidal particle from the dispersion medium. In this case, the common ion is iodide ion. And by acquiring iodide ion, we have formation of negatively charged sols. Okay, clear है? अब रिवर्स करते हैं. Now we add potassium iodide into silver nitrate. So in this case, silver nitrate is the dispersion medium. बनना वही सेम है. We have formation of yellow PPT of silver iodide and aqueous solution of potassium nitrate. So in this case, when we prepare the colloidal solution by shaking the freshly prepared PPT, कौन सा silver iodide with the dispersion medium, so we have formation of which sol? We have formation of positively charged sol. कैसे? This PPT of silver iodide will acquire, will absorb ion. Which ion? Which is common to the colloidal particle. In this case, इसमें ion कौन कौन से हैं? सिल्वर आयन और आयोडाइड आयन. और डिस्पर्शन मीडियम में कौन से हैं? सिल्वर आयन और नाइट्रेट आयन. सो कौन सा आयन एब्जॉर्ब करेगा? जो दोनों में कॉमन आ रहा है, पार्टिकल्स ऑफ कोलॉइड में भी और डिस्पर्शन मीडियम में भी. सो इन दिस केस सिल्वर आयन इज कॉमन. सो द पीपीटी ऑफ सिल्वर आयोडाइड will acquire silver ion on the surface, and there is formation of charged particles, colloidal particles of the colloidal range, and in this case the charge is positive because of silver ions on the surface of silver iodide. And that's how we have formation of charges on the sol particles, positive or the negative charges on the sol particles. कैसे हो रहा है? By the preferential adsorption of the ions, of the cations or the anions on the sol particles. ठीक है? So that's about the origin of charges, that how the charge appears on the sol particles by the preferential adsorption of ions. इसको नोट करो. Then we'll discuss about electrophoresis and electroosmosis, the different phenomena which can be useful to explain the electrical properties of the colloidal solution. So we'll discuss about electrophoresis and electroosmosis now. So the existence of the charged particles, charged colloidal particles in the colloidal solution, it can be confirmed by the experiment of electrophoresis. So when the electric field is applied between the two platinum electrodes which are dipped in the colloidal solution in this U-shaped container, it has been observed that the charged particles start moving towards one of the oppositely charged electrodes. So this movement, the movement of the colloidal particles toward the oppositely charged electrodes in an electric field, this movement is called electrophoresis. So in this case, the positively charged particles, they will move toward the cathode which is negatively charged, and the negatively charged particles, they will move towards the anode. Suppose we have taken arsenic sulfide solution. Arsenic sulfide. We know that the arsenic sulfide sols, they are negatively charged. They are negatively charged. So they will move toward the anode. And if we take ferric hydroxide sols, we know that these sols, they are positively charged. So they will move toward the cathode. So this movement of the charged particles toward the oppositely charged electrodes in an electric field is called electrophoresis. ठीक है? अब आते हैं electroosmosis में. So when this process of electrophoresis is prevented by some suitable means, then what we observe? It is observed that the dispersion medium they will now begins to move in the electric field, and the movement of the dispersion medium in the electric field toward the oppositely charged electrode is called electroosmosis. So in case of electrophoresis, the colloidal particles, they will move toward the oppositely charged electrode in the electric field. In case of electroosmosis, the dispersion medium, they will move toward the oppositely charged electrode in the electric field. So that's about electrophoresis and electroosmosis, which explain the electrical properties of colloidal solution. So that's all about this lecture. In the next lecture, we will discuss about the coagulation of the colloidal solution and protection of colloids. That we will discuss in the next lecture. So see you all in the next lecture. Till then, thank you और आप सबको नमस्ते.